The Greater Dayton Volunteer Lawyers Project presents Bankruptcy. This video is solely for informational purposes. The information contained in this video is general and should not be applied to specific legal problems without first consulting an attorney.
I'm having some trouble with debt right now, and I've been thinking about filing bankruptcy, but I'm not sure how to go about it. How do I know if bankruptcy is right for me?
If you're having trouble repaying your debts, bankruptcy may be right for you. Usually people file Chapter 7 bankruptcy because it gets rid of credit card debt, medical debt, and other types of debt that you can no longer afford to pay. If you're behind on your car or your mortgage, you may be better off in a Chapter 13 bankruptcy. Chapter 13 bankruptcy may allow you to catch up your car and house payments and allow you to keep them. But you can only file bankruptcy once every 8 years. So if you have filed before or think you may need to file in a few years, be sure to check with an attorney so they can look at your entire financial situation and let you know the best way to handle the situation. Filing for bankruptcy is a very complicated process, and you should really speak with an attorney about what is best in your situation and what you need to do to go through the process. It is always best to get information as early as possible so that you may understand your rights.
I got a notice saying they are going to garnish my wages. I don't want them to take my money. Does this mean I should file bankruptcy?
If you are facing a garnishment of your wages or foreclosure of your home, it may be the right time to file. But if you have no health insurance and are only facing a lot of medical debt, it may not be the time to file. These are signals for you to have your situation reviewed by a bankruptcy lawyer. The lawyer can help explain how garnishment works, what they can take, and what your options are. Bankruptcy is a way of stopping a garnishment.
How do they get rid of my debts through bankruptcy?
Once a bankruptcy is filed, you are protected by the automatic stay. This is like an umbrella that covers you from your creditors. This protects you from the collection process. When you complete your bankruptcy, certain debts are discharged, wiped out, and the creditor cannot collect on these debts anymore. Certain debts are not discharged, such as taxes, child support, and student loan. Secured debt does not go away if you keep the assets. If you keep an asset, like a car, you have to continue to pay the debt.
I don't want to lose all of my things. What items am I allowed to keep?
Ohio law provides for exemptions for some belongings. Figuring out whether something is exempt is a very complicated process. You should talk to an attorney to be sure if you can keep certain things. The law is designed to allow you to keep certain things. Example of this includes you can keep up to $3,450 of equity in your car and up to $10,000 of total value in your household goods. Most people get to keep most of their things. It is important to speak to an attorney so you can understand what you can keep.
I own my house. Can I keep it if I file bankruptcy?
There are several factors in determining whether you can keep your home. The first is if there's too much equity. Equity is how much your house is worth over what you owe. Ohio law lets you protect up to $125,000 of equity in your home. If you have a mortgage on your home, you should be current on the mortgage if you want to keep it. You do still have to pay the mortgage. If you're behind on your mortgage, you may have to file Chapter 13. Chapter 13 may let you catch up the payments that you are behind.
What about my car? I need my car for work. Can I keep it if I file bankruptcy?
Again, there are several things that must be considered. First, do you own the car outright? And if so, how much is it worth? This can determine if you can keep the car. Second, if you owe money on the car, you have to be current to keep it in Chapter 7. If you're behind, you may want to file Chapter 13.
What about my TV or my clothes? Can I keep those?
You usually get to keep all of your personal belongings so long as their value is not over a certain amount, and this is what we call your exemptions. Remember, this is a very complicated process. To find out for sure if you can keep your personal items, talk to an attorney about your whole financial situation, and they can tell you what you'll be able to keep.
What debts are not allowed to be wiped clean or discharged?
Bankruptcy court can deny wiping clean or discharging of certain debts for fraud or for hiding property. Some examples of debts that cannot be discharged include debts from drunk driving, student loans, taxes, child support, and alimony. These are just some examples.
I get Social Security payments each month. Will the government take my money?
No, the government will usually not take Social Security money, workers' compensation money, unemployment benefits, or disability benefits. For benefits or assistance you receive from the government, it will all depend on your financial situation as a whole and what is protected under the bankruptcy laws.
How do I file bankruptcy? What paperwork do I need to fill out?
To file bankruptcy, you need to submit certain paperwork, which includes a petition, a statement of financial affairs, and a schedule of assets and liabilities. It is important that this financial information is truthful. You can't get the help you need if you don't tell your bankruptcy lawyer the entire story. Consult with a bankruptcy expert and your attorney to understand how the process will work for your situation. The paperwork looks simple, but it is not. It is always best to consult with a bankruptcy attorney.
What happens if I miss a debt that's owed and it's not included when I file my bankruptcy action?
It is very important that you include all of your debts in your bankruptcy. If you don't, you cannot go back later and try to have those debts discharged.
I heard you have to take credit counseling. Is this true?
The bankruptcy law requires you to complete a pre-bankruptcy consumer credit counseling session before you can file. You can take this locally at Consumer Credit Counseling, which is offered through Gracework Lutheran Services. Their phone number is 1-800-377-2432, or you may be able to take a similar course online at or a company like www.hummingbird.org. Your lawyer may be using a different company, so make sure you check with them.
Do I have to take it at one of those locations, or can I choose somewhere else for my credit counseling?
You can take your pre-bankruptcy credit counseling at a location of your choice, provided the provider is approved by the United States Trustee Program. You will generally be charged for this. Make sure the company is one that is approved.
What happens after I've completed my paperwork and my credit counseling?
After you file your bankruptcy, your debts will not go away until you've completed the post-bankruptcy debtor counseling course or debtor education course. This is a second course. They are offered by the same companies that offer your credit counseling course, and usually there's a small test with this. This is required. Without this course, you will not get your discharge.
I keep getting harassed by collection calls and notices. Will those stop once I file bankruptcy?
Yes, the calls should stop. Once you file the bankruptcy, an automatic stay goes into place. Your creditors will receive notice, and they are supposed to stop calling you at that time. In some cases, they may continue to call. If they still call your lawyer, and he or she will be able to help you stop those phone calls.
What if I filed bankruptcy before? Can I file it again if I need to?
You can only file Chapter 7 bankruptcy if it has been 8 years since the last time you filed Chapter 7 bankruptcy. There are some restrictions on filing more than once, so be sure to talk to a bankruptcy attorney to see if you can file again. If the situation arises and you need further bankruptcy help, you may be able to file a Chapter 13 to protect yourself before the 8 years has elapsed.
What if I am married? Can I file bankruptcy by myself?
Yes, you can file bankruptcy by yourself. You do not both have to file, but very often both partners in a marriage have to file together. It's important to look at your credit report to determine who is the responsible party on the debt. If you're both responsible on the debt, if only one spouse files bankruptcy, the other spouse still owes the money on that debt. Good. Determination of bankruptcy, however, is based on the household income, not just one party.
Will filing bankruptcy be on my credit report?
Yes, bankruptcy will appear on your credit report, and it can affect your credit score, and it can affect your ability to borrow money for other purposes in the future. It can take 7 or more years before the bankruptcy comes off your credit report.
Will bankruptcy affect me if I'm trying to get a job?
Some employers do ask if you have ever filed bankruptcy, so be aware that you may have to disclose it for certain things. It really depends on the situation, and you should discuss this matter with a bankruptcy attorney.
Bankruptcy sounds like a complicated process, but it might be able to help me. How should I proceed?
The best thing to do is to consult with a bankruptcy attorney and learn what your rights are and how bankruptcy can help you.
If you are located in or near Dayton, Ohio and require legal services but are unable to afford an attorney, please call the Legal Aid Line at 1-888-534-1432. If you do not qualify for legal aid, please call the Dayton Bar Association Lawyer Referral Service at area code 937-222-6102. Attorney for this video was Wayne Novick, Esquire. The client for this video was Liz Otis, a student at the University of Dayton School of Law. The script for this video was written by Wayne Novick, Esquire, and Liz Otis.